Hello dear students, my name is Apeksha Tripathi and today in this session I'm going to teach you one of the most important and interesting topics of English grammar, and that is active and passive voice. So today we will understand what is active voice, what is passive voice, and how to change an active sentence into passive voice. Let's begin. First of all, we need to understand what is voice. Actually, voice is the form of the verb, and voice tells whether the subject in a sentence is active or passive. That means voice tells whether the subject of the sentence performs or receives the action. There are two types of voice. What are they? The first one is active voice and the second one is passive voice. There is one basic difference between these two voices. What is this? In active voice, you can see the focus is always on the subject because subject is active, subject is the doer, subject performs some action there. So the focus is always on subject in an active sentence. While in a passive sentence, the focus is always on action, because here in the passive sentence, the subject is not active, the subject is passive, and the receiver of the sentence, that means the object of the sentence, becomes the subject, and the main focus is on the action. Let's understand in detail what is active and what is passive voice. Here on the screen you can see two sentences. John eats pizza and pizza is eaten by John. On the basis of meaning, there is no difference between these two sentences, because who is eating pizza here? John is eating pizza. Who is eating pizza in the next sentence? Of course, John is eating pizza. But on the basis of the structure, both are different, right? So let's understand what is active and why it is active and how to change an active sentence into a passive one. In an active sentence, we always need a subject, verb, and an object. And in a passive sentence, we need object as subject plus verb and subject as object, right? In the first sentence, John eats pizza. Who eats pizza? Tell me. John eats pizza, right? Because John is the subject of the sentence. What activity is performed by John here? Eating. He eats pizza, right? So John is the subject of this sentence because John is the doer in this sentence. John performs the action. What action John performs here? He eats pizza. So John becomes the subject of this sentence, and eats becomes the action because the action eats is done by John. So eats is the verb in this sentence. Next, who is the receiver of the action in this sentence? Pizza. Because what is being eaten? Pizza is being eaten by John, by the subject of the sentence. So pizza becomes the object of the sentence, or you can also say that pizza is the receiver of the action, because what is being eaten? Pizza is being eaten, so action is being performed on pizza, and action is being performed by John. So in this way, pizza becomes the object of the sentence. So I hope you understand what is active sentence. In active sentence, we always need a subject that is active, okay, a subject that performs the action, and then we need a verb, then object, okay. So this is the basic structure of active voice, and this is an active sentence. When we want to change an active sentence into a passive one, how we can change it and what steps we need to follow, what we need to remember. To When you change an active sentence into a passive one, what you need to do, you need to interchange the subject and object. And when you will be able to interchange the subject and object, when you can identify, when you know this is the subject, this is the verb, and this is the object in the sentence. When you identify subject, verb, object, then you can interchange the subject and object. So what is the subject of the sentence? John. And what is the object? Pizza. So in passive voice, pizza becomes the subject of the sentence. Right? What I write here? Object as a subject. Okay. So object of an active voice becomes the subject of a passive voice. So pizza becomes the subject of this sentence. Now identify the tense. What is the tense of active voice? It is in present, indefinite, or you can say this is simple present, right? And when we will change a sentence that is in simple present or in present indefinite into a passive voice, we need a be verb. And in simple is, am, are. In present tense, we have these three be verbs that we use according to the subject of our sentence. Here with pizza we can write is because pizza is singular in number, so the verb agrees with pizza is. Then what is the next step? Then we will write the main verb of the sentence. So what is the main verb of the sentence? Is. And now we have to change the verb into its past participle form, or you can say the third form of past participle of eat. It is eaten. So we'll write here eaten. What's the next step? We will replace object with the subject. John is the subject of the sentence in active voice, and now when we will change it into passive, John becomes the object of the passive voice. John becomes the object of the sentence, but before you write the object here, you always put a preposition, and generally we use preposition by, but in some cases with some specific verbs we change the preposition. We can use here with, on, in. Okay, there are some specific verbs, with them we use different preposition. We will discuss it later, but generally in passive sentence we use the preposition by. So I hope you understand the structure of an active voice and the structure of a passive. In active sentence, when there are words like someone, somebody, nobody, no one, everyone, then you need not to write these words as the object of the sentence. For example, someone has picked my pocket. Someone is the subject of the sentence and my pocket is the object of the sentence. So when we'll change the sentence into passive one, what happens? Someone becomes the object and my pocket becomes the subject, right? So my pocket, now the sentence is in present perfect, so auxiliary verb we are using here has been. Then the past participle form of picked is picked. Now in this sentence my pocket has been picked. It is complete in its meaning. Now in this sentence my pocket has been picked. There is no need to write a subject as an object like by someone. Why it is not important? Why it is not necessary to write subject as an object? Because the subject is unknown. You know the subject. Who does it? So there is no need to write, and the sentence is complete in its meaning. So you can omit. There is one more important point you need to remember. When you change a sentence from active to passive, you should check the verb of the sentence. If the verb is transitive, only then you can change the sentence into passive one, because a transitive verb always has an object. Because a transitive verb always has an object, and we need an object in a passive voice. So the sentence that has an intransitive verb can't be changed into passive. For example, there is a sentence, she sleeps. Sleeps is an intransitive verb and it does not has an object, so it can't be changed into a passive voice. So always remember that a sentence that has transitive verb can be changed into passive voice. Let's talk about the change in pronouns. How we change pronouns when we convert an active into passive. For example, in active voice, there is a word he. It is pronoun, okay, and this is in the subjective form. Why it is in the subjective form? Because it functions here as the subject of the sentence. And when we will replace it with the object, okay, when we will make it the object of the sentence, okay, in a passive sentence, then we will write the objective form of he. Understand why we will write the objective form of he? Because we are using here it as an object. That's why we need the objective form of this pronoun. So we will write here him. He plays football. So what we do here? We replace he and football. Football becomes the subject in this sentence. Football, and this, as we know, the sentence is present indefinite, so here we will use is as the be verb because football is singular in number. So with singular we always use is, and with plural we always use are, and with I we will use am. Okay, football is. Now what is the past participle form of play? It is played. Football is played by him because generally we use the preposition by, so we will use here by. Then he becomes him because we will write the objective form of the pronoun here. Okay, and I have prepared a table here so that you can understand what is the objective form and what is the subjective form. In the first row, they all are the subjective forms of the pronouns. We will write the pronoun as a subject. And when we change active to passive, then we will use the objective form. When we will write them as an object, then we will use the objective form of this pronoun. So I becomes me, we becomes us, he becomes him, she becomes her, they becomes them, you becomes you, and you remain same and it remains same, or you can say you become you and it becomes it. Here there is list of some specific prepositions we use with some specific verbs. You can take the screenshot of this slide. I have prepared this table for you for quick revision, so you can take the screenshot and you can save it, and we will discuss it later. Now let's move. There are few sentences of simple present tense, and you can see the answers as well. Let's see the third one. Does she play cricket? This is an interrogative sentence. So when you change an interrogative sentence into passive, you can't change the form or the structure of the sentence. You can't write it like affirmative sentence. So here the sentence begins with the word does because it is in present tense. So when we will replace the object with subject, and we will put here as an subject, then what verb will we use here? Use the auxiliary verb is, right? Is cricket, then the past participle of play is played, so we will write here played, then we will write the subject as an object, and so we will write here by her. Same as in there is one more interrogative sentence. Where do you keep the pen? Here there is an interrogative word. Okay, where? So when we will change such sentences in passive voice, then this WH word, the interrogative words, will come at the same place. Where? Okay, because this is interrogative, so we can't change the form of the sentence. We can't change the structure. Then this is in present, simple present tense. So let's see the before putting the auxiliary verb, let's check the object of the sentence. The object of the sentence is pen, that is singular in number, so we can write here is. Okay, where is the pen? Then we will write the past participle form of keep. It becomes kept. Then The subject you will become the object of the sentence. So we will write here by you. This is all for today. I hope you like this session. Thank you for watching.